Hey everyone, Eric Rodebois. So we're going to talk about the registered agent of a company. And so what that means is it's the official person or company for a company that is designated to accept official correspondence, mail, and most importantly, service of process of lawsuits. And so when you create your company, and companies in the United States, they're created state by state. So you can create a California company or a Delaware company or a Florida company. And so when you create your company, we're here in Miami, so we create mostly Florida companies. And when you're completing the application and you're filling out the forms and you're submitting your articles of organization for an LLC or articles of incorporation for a corporation, is you need to designate a registered agent. Now, it can't be a stranger. It's somebody who has to actually accept this responsibility. We've seen it where somebody has put somebody against their will or without their knowledge, and that there's actually a whole statute and it controls all of the parts of this, and you can actually be breaking the law if you do some of the things wrong. Now, I don't think these are serious criminal laws. I don't think anyone's going to go to jail, but I can tell you what might actually happen is if you pick a registered agent who's either irresponsible or unknowing, or maybe just not in existence, or maybe just isn't an actual place of business, because that's part of it. The registered agent has to be an actual place of business where they can accept service of process during regular business hours on a regular business day. So when somebody starts a lawsuit, one of the first steps is you hire either the sheriff or a process server, and the process server or the sheriff then goes to the registered agent address. Now, obviously, if we're suing an individual, we're not talking about suing individuals. When you start a lawsuit against an individual, you still need to have a sheriff or a process server. They just have to find that individual. Now, typically, it's either where they live or you find out where they work, or sometimes we hire a private investigator. Sometimes we're doing a whole investigation just to find the guy so that we can start the lawsuit. And we've even had it where the person makes it intentionally difficult to find them. Maybe they never answer their door when the process server knocks. Maybe they never leave their house, or maybe they live in a building with security and there's a doorman and they never get past the doorman. And so we've actually had it where you can ask a judge, you're like, Judge, I keep trying to serve this person, but they're making it intentionally difficult. Let me serve them by email, or let me serve them by fax, or I've even seen it, let me serve them by Facebook message. And so you have to ask the court for permission. Now, for a company, it's usually much easier because a company has to have a registered agent. Now, where things get tricky is what if they stopped paying their registered agent? So, for example, my law firm, we offer that as a service to our clients, and a lot of our clients will pay us to be their registered agent. Well, let's say that they don't pay us, but they do their renewal every year themselves, which is part of just corporate due diligence, that you've got to maintain the corporate formalities, you've got to do the things that keep the company in business. And this applies even to an LLC. An LLC and a corporation, each of them, they both have to file an annual report every year. And every year you can update your registered agent. Now, we've had it happen where a client has not paid our fee, but they've kept us as the registered agent. Now, what we would do is, first of all, when we find out, we invoice them. We're like, hey, you're receiving a benefit, because here's the thing, it's a responsibility. So I'm not going to take that responsibility for free. And now I'm actually an ethical, moral human being. If my client who kept me as their registered agent and isn't paying me gets served with a lawsuit, and I realize that they kept me as the registered agent, I'm going to do the right thing and I'm going to notify them. Well, guess what? I have a case right now where the registered agent was not being paid, so the company stopped paying them. They got served with a lawsuit. They just threw it in the trash. They didn't even pick up the phone. They didn't have the courtesy to send them an email. Hey, George, just wanted to let you know, even though you stopped paying us, we just got served with a lawsuit. By the way, I'm going to invoice you because you kept me as a registered agent when you shouldn't have, or whatever. And in my story, what ends up happening is George never knows about the lawsuit. The lawsuit proceeds to a default judgment. Once you get a default judgment, the word default, that just means you got it because they never answered. But the word judgment means now you have access to the whole power of the courts to seize bank accounts, to put liens on property, to garnish wages. You can do lots of powerful things when you're post-judgment. And so without even getting a chance to defend themselves, without even getting a chance to make an argument, they one day went to the bank and their bank account was closed and all of it was seized by the judgment creditor. And they're like, hold on a minute, I don't owe this person. But yeah, you do, because you have a default judgment against you. And why? Because you stopped paying your registered agent. So for the $100 a year fee of paying the registered agent, you now lost $75,000 in your business checking account. And this is effectively going to put your business out of business because you didn't want to pay that one fee. So please, everyone, this is very important. If you have a company, you must maintain an active registered agent. It should not be a condo. It should not be your home address. And it really should be either your place of business where there's going to be somebody at the front desk accepting mail and accepting service, and your staff needs to be trained. You need to say, hey, if a process server comes, you need to let me know. I've had it happen where the front desk person accepted the thing and just put it in the pile of papers and it got forgot about, and they had the same bad thing happen. They got a default, everything bad happened. So guys, if you have any questions about this should be Business 101, although we see it all the time, and hopefully we can help you keep it maintained. And if you already have the default, we can try to fight and get the default set aside. Thanks, everyone.